Okay, so hello everybody. Today I am going to be talking to you about energy because a lot of business owners struggle with energy throughout the day. Would you agree?
Yep.
And focus is such an important thing, right? So if we've got, 8, 9 hours in our day, we want to utilize the time that we have as best as we can, right? So if our energy is poor, then what happens is our focus also drops, our motivation drops. It's just hard for us to get things done. We might be like, I need to get this done, but I just feel like having a nap, right? So does anyone here kind of resonate with any of that, what I'm saying? Do you relate to that? Okay, so one of the first things I want to find out is, there's something that tells me how good your energy is or isn't, and I want to know what it is for you. So tell me, when do you have the most energy in the day? You have it in the morning?
Morning.
Morning? Middle of the day? Okay. Who here knows when you should have the most energy? Like, when do you think you should have the most energy? No idea? Any idea? No idea? Okay, so you should have the most energy in the morning. That is when your energy should be the best, right? Who here knows what causes you to have good energy? Any ideas what causes you to have good energy?
Sleep and uncovered time.
Yeah, it's definitely sleep. Sleep is a big part of it. How many hours of good sleep do you need to have to be having good energy? Yeah, so adults are somewhere between 7 to 9. Depends on the adult. Everyone's a little bit different. And ideally, you should be having a sleep that you go to sleep. What time is the best time to go to sleep?
So when you're tired,
Yeah, so the best time to go to sleep is before 10 o'clock, right? The most rejuvenating time of your sleep to give you the best energy is between the hours of 10 and, any ideas?
2
2.
when you call this up.
10 and 2. 10 and 2 are your best hours. So mothers often end up doing the old get up, look after the kids, kids go to sleep, and they're like, yay, now I have some time for myself. And then they end up staying up to midnight, but they're losing 2 of the most important hours of their sleep. Plus, they're getting woken up 3 or 4 times during the night with breastfeeding or kids screaming or whatever it is. And so they're really, really sleep deprived, right? So we often think we'll stay up, have a bit more time for ourselves, but actually this is very, very detrimental. So the better thing to do is go to bed early and get up early, not go to bed late and get up late. Yeah. So you want to change that around. If you've got low energy and you're not high in the morning, which is what you're saying, that tells me that you've got a potential issue with your cortisol levels. Does anyone know what cortisol is?
Yeah, it's a hormone shout.
It's educated, this one. Yeah.
The hormone that is just picked up with our circadian rhythms.
Yeah, he said it's a hormone that's linked up with the circadian rhythm. So cortisol is a hormone that is linked up with our circadian rhythms. You are correct. It will become, in the morning when the sunlight comes, it is the thing that wakes you up. Yeah, the light releases cortisol into your body and then you will wake up. Yeah, so it should be the highest in the morning and it should start to go down like this through the day until the night where it goes lowest. So a lot of people have, when I work in clinic with them, they have, they're low in the morning, low in the afternoon and high at night. Have you ever had that experience before? No, okay. So these people are what we call, in the old term, we used to call it adrenal fatigue. It's where your cortisol levels are out of whack. But really it should be high, high, good, and then low at night. And it should start going down, your energy should be lower in the evening, not higher in the evening, and it shouldn't be as high as it is in the afternoon. A lot of people also get the afternoon dip where they just feel a bit like, I need to sleep, I need a snack, I want some sugar, I need some coffee. Who here can't get up and function without coffee? Okay, so there's a few people here that can't function without coffee. What happens if you don't have your coffee?
You still feel half asleep.
Yeah, you still feel half asleep. Yeah. How long have you been having that much coffee for?
Years.
Years and years. So years and years of drinking caffeine to wake you up. Now, ironically, the caffeine has just been delivered. The second lot of caffeine. So do you know what my biggest tip is for people who want to improve their energy? Don't drink coffee or caffeine. Reduce the caffeine, right? And this is because all to do with cortisol, right? So cortisol is a hormone that does lots and lots of things in your body. Part of what it does is it gives you energy, but it also regulates your blood sugars. So your like hunger, how fast sugar goes into your system and then is taken into the cells and then drops down again. It regulates your inflammation, so your immune system. So if you've got too much cortisol, that's not a good thing. And if you've got too low cortisol, it's not a good thing, right? So when you've had long-term stress or long-term inflammation in the body, like sickness, what happens is often the cortisol production is not enough anymore. Initially, cortisol will go up with the stress, whether it be physical or emotional, it'll go up, or coffee, it'll go up, right? Then after a while, it will actually start to come down and the body will stop making that high amount. Even if your stress levels are still really high, it'll stop making it because it's kind of like, this is normal now, right? So it's only meant to be like a short-term response. But what happens is we live in this world where we drink way too much coffee. We are stressed, we're busy, we're not sleeping well, we're not eating well. We've got infections and problems, toxins and toxicities in our body. And so we get what we call a lot of inflammation. And then cortisol starts to come down and it's not able to regulate things. So what we see is we end up having low energy, peaks and troughs in energy up and down through the day. We end up getting immune problems like colds and flus or autoimmune diseases. We end up getting sleep problems. We end up getting weight problems like fat around the belly, all that sort of stuff. That's all to do with cortisol, yeah, and insulins. So energy production really, or if your symptoms of energy up and down are really literally just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to health, right? So one of the things I always say to people is, if you have good energy, you usually have good health, right? You usually have good health. If you've got poor energy, it's like one of the first signs that something goes wrong in the body is your energy drops, right? And it's the same whenever I do kinesiology testing. Like whenever I'm testing the body, I'll test onto the liver point, the thyroid, whatever it is. If the energy is not good, it tells me there's something wrong in the body because it's all about vitality. So vitality is like one of our main indicators of good health or poor health, right? So if we're having ups and downs, then it's saying to us, okay, something's not quite right in our body. And so we need to sort that out. So caffeine is one of the first things to get rid of if you want to wake up with good energy in the morning. What is something else that you can get off? Sugar. Yep, sugar works in a similar way to caffeine. Sugar goes into the body. What's a sugar high? Tell me what a sugar high is. Like what you've seen a child with a sugar high, right? What happens with them?
No.
Well, the sugar is glucose. Yeah, it goes up. But what happens after a few minutes or an hour or so? What happens to the child? Boom. And then there's crying, screaming, I want my sugar, give me all that shit, right? So that happens to adults as well. You might not get the screaming and the crying, or you might, depending on how stressed you are. But you might get headaches. You might start feeling fatigued or tired or thinking you need to eat more sugar or drink more caffeine. Usually it's like low energy. It's like a feeling in the body. And so this links into blood sugar problems as well, like weight problems, blood sugar problems. It's all tied together. So if you take out sugar, you take out caffeine, what else can you like admit from your world that you think that's not great for your energy at the moment? So we know you need sleep, hey? Carbohydrates, you need carbohydrates, right? So what type of the question is what type of carbohydrates?
The process.
Yeah, so get rid of the processed carbohydrates. Do you know what the processed carbohydrates are?
It's not a whole wheat.
Yeah, so what is not a whole food? Hey?
This is your ask for your this?
Oh yeah, that's quite nice. Bread?
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah, so anything that's white, you know, like white bread. Like bread, there's like multiple sort of layers to carbohydrates. There's like really bad stuff, which is like sugar and white bread and white flour and all the really processed nasty stuff. Then you've got like a bit better, which would be your brown flours and brown breads and whole, like sourdough,
Pull down the rice.
that sort of stuff. Oops, that's my 10 minutes. So you've got then you've got your sourdoughs and that sort of stuff, which are like organic, less processed, don't have all the additives, that sort of thing in them. And then you get into what I would consider actually good carbohydrates, because bread and things like that, pasta, they are still highly refined. And ideally, we want to sort of eat more like a caveman would eat, which is like they didn't really grind that stuff up that much, right? And when it's in its whole form, it is harder for you to digest, so it doesn't spike your sugars and you don't have those crashes, which means it means better energy, right? So you go, get rid of all the white, no more white, a little bit of the brown stuff, and then focus on having good carbohydrates, which would be like whole oats instead of like quick oats. It's a good example. Do you know what I mean? Or kibbled oats. You know what I mean by that? Kibbled oats. No, what are they called? Steel cut oats. Something like that. Or you can get like pumpernickel bread, which is like still the whole rye, like it's in the whole grain is there. It's not just the flour. Do you get the difference? Yeah. The next thing is root vegetables. Root vegetables. So what are some root vegetables? Sweet potato is really, really good because it's balancing to blood sugars.
Turnip.
Turnip, yep. Turnip. Pumpkin.
Yeah.
Pumpkin's another one. What about potatoes?
Not so good.
Yeah. What?
Sweet potatoes.
Sweet potatoes. Yeah. So sweet potatoes are better than white potatoes. And you might think, what? That doesn't make sense. They're sweet. How's that good for your blood sugars? Because you think it's sweet. It's not good, right? It's because of the way the fiber is released in the body. It's slow releasing fiber, as opposed to white potato is very, very starchy and it's fast releasing. Yeah. So it's all about how fast sugar comes up and how fast it goes down, as to how it affects your energy production. So we're gonna wrap up. So we've got coffee, we've got sleep, we've got carbohydrates and sugar. Anything else that's missing on the list of things that are good for energy production?
Oh, mentals.
What was that?
Mentals.
Mental state, so emotional state. Yep, so that's huge, like depression, anxiety, stress, emotional stuff.
That's me. Morning cow.
That was my next one. Yeah, the other one that's really, 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 really important is movement. Yeah, so you need to move your body how many times a week? Minimum? Ideally every day. Yeah, like at least 4 hours of good exercise a week. Yeah, but a lot of people just get up, walk around the house, do some shit, sit down, pick up the kids, run around, that's it. And they're like, I don't have time for exercise, right? But we've got to make it. Yeah, so that's it.